झंडे लगाओ खुशियाँ मनाओ, झंडे लगाओ खुशियाँ मनाओ, करके चरागा करके चरागा करके चरागा खुशियाँ मनाओ।
ज़मीनो आसमां में कोई भी मिसाल ना मिली।
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, recite in the name of your Lord who created man from a clinging substance. Recite, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man that which he knew not. No, but indeed man transgresses, because he sees himself self-sufficient. Indeed, to your Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the return. Have you seen the one who forbids a servant when he prays? Have you seen if he is upon guidance or enjoins righteousness? Have you seen if he denies and turns away? Does he not know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees? Surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the truth.
It is an honor to be invited here on this holy day, and it underlines a strong and respectful relationship that exists between us. A tree is known by the fruit it bears. A quarter of the world's population identifies as followers of Islam, and in New Zealand, just over 60,000 people identify as followers of Islam. Our Muslim community in New Zealand have been here for over 175 years. And as the long lineage of our Race Relations Commissioner Meng Foon outlined about our Chinese community, Actually, some of our first settlers in New Zealand were Chinese Muslims. And today we are blessed with Muslims that come from over close to about 100 different ethnicities just in Auckland alone. On this holy occasion, it is important to recognize and reflect on the immense contribution our Muslim communities have made to New Zealand over these hundreds of years. If you look into any field in New Zealand right now, you look at our sporting field, we know Sonny Bull Williams making dua on the sport field. We look within our New Zealand police and we have our Superintendent Ayla Hassan who are there representing and speaking out for Muslim communities. You look within our judiciary, you look within Auckland Council. I'm sitting next to one of the most senior members in the Auckland Council who's from the Muslim community. So any facet, be it in education, be it in the sciences, be it where you go into a hotel or where you go get picked up from a taxi. It doesn't matter in what facet of life we are, our Muslim community is making a significant contribution. And today we have the media present and we even have our media organizations who are led by our Muslim communities.
Sadaएं दरूदों की आती रहेंगी, सदाएं दरूदों की आती रहेंगी, जिन्हें सुन के दिल शाद होता रहेगा, जिन्हें सुन के दिल शाद होता रहेगा। और खुदा आले सुन्नत को आबाद रखे, खुदा को आबाद रखे, मोहम्मद का मीलाद होता रहेगा, मोहम्मद का मीलाद होता रहेगा, मेरे आका का मीलाद होता रहेगा। बादल हम्दो सलात नहती वाजिबुल एहतराम उलमाए ज़ी तशाम, मेहमानाने गरामीउल कद्र, सामईन ज़ी वक़ार, पर्दा नशीन ख्वातीन इज़्ज़ाम, हम सब मिलकर रब्बुल जलाल का शुक्र अदा करते हैं कि जिस परवरदिगार आलम ने अपने फजलो करम के साथ हमें अपने महबूब करीम अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम के ज़िक्र मिलाद की इस मुक़द्दस महफ़िल में हाज़िर होने की तौफीक अता फरमाई। और शुक्र है उस रब्बुल इज़्ज़त का, इंशाअल्लाह ताला उसका लफ्ज़ी तर्जमा और उसके ज़िमन में एक दो बातें आप हज़रात की खिदमत में पेश करने की कोशिश करूँगा। लेकिन मैं चिश्ती मजाज और ज़ौक़ रखने वाला आदमी हूँ। अगर मैं ये समझूंगा कि आप मेरे साथ कनेक्ट हैं, मेरी बात सुन रहे हैं, तो मैं आगे बढ़ूंगा, नहीं तो ऐते पाक पढ़ के मैं तर्जमा करके अपनी गुफ्तगू खत्म कर दूँ। आप फरमाते हैं कि ज़ेना ज़बनाते शता शान नबी दे आया, ओ आमालो का शदें, इसकी मदें, ये सारी नबी करीम अलैहिस्सलाम की नात बयान करती हैं, लेकिन आम लोगों को ये राज पता नहीं चल सकता। ये खासाने उम्मत जो हैं, कुरान ये मैसेज उन्हें अता करता है। और फिर किसी उर्दू वाले ने भी बड़े कमाल की बात लिखी, फरमाते हैं कि आयतों से मिलाता रहा शौक के साथ मेरे साथ ये हुजूर की नात का शेर पढ़ें, तो जब आज हमारी डेयरी गुंबद खिजरा में पहुंचेगी तो सरकार की बारगाह में आपका नाम लेकर बताया जाएगा कि आका फलां उम्मती आपकी बारगाह में अकीदत के ये फूल नछावर कर रहा है।
झंडे लगाओ, खुशियाँ मनाओ, झंडे लगाओ, खुशियाँ मनाओ, करके चरागा, करके चरागा, करके चरागा, खुशियाँ मनाओ। झंडे लगाओ, खुशियाँ मनाओ, झंडे लगाओ, खुशियाँ मनाओ, करके चरागा, करके चरागा, करके चरागा, खुशियाँ मनाओ।
शुक्रिया मौलाना सैयद मुश्तबा शाह साहब। Sayyid Sahab has shared a very important message that how our Huzur Hazrat Mustafa Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to this world as a blessing for the entire universe. He changed the trend of protecting the female child when the trend in those days were that the female child were buried alive. He changed the trend by sharing the importance, by sharing the knowledge and the importance of having a female child in the family. I acknowledge Alim Abdul Qadir Shakafi, Pesh Imam of Hamilton Mosque's presence, and I also acknowledge the President of New Zealand Muslim League, the President of Pakistan Association of New Zealand. I would now like to request Councillor Elf Filipina to come on stage on behalf of the Mayor of Auckland, the local board and his party to share the message.
This occasion to commemorate the birthday of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And I say thank you. I'm humbly here as a servant of our community. It is an honour to be asked to speak at this occasion, again because of the significance and the birthday of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Seeing the Muslim community come together in March during the terror attack, for me, especially with the community and side by side with all the communities, to me that was heartening. I know that the memory of the terrible Christchurch incident, terror attack, is going to live with us, but we should never, ever forget the 51 people who passed, but also the hundreds who've been affected by that tragedy, the hundreds who were injured, but also their families and our community. And we also remember that events like this is an occasion to rebuild ourselves. Here is the occasion to rebuild ourselves. The Muslim community responded with love when this tragedy happened in March, and the Kiwis rallied behind you. We said that the tragedy would be a catalyst to unite us all, and this is what we are seeing. And we are united. Today is another special day as you commemorate this event, bringing together your Muslim brothers and sisters and wider community. We promised each other after the 15th of March that we would be stronger and closer. And today is an example of that. When I was invited to speak at this event, I did some research on Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
That was a beautiful speech. MashaAllah, delivered our honorable, great alim, Sayyid Mustafa, well known to Fiji Islamic community in UK too, MashaAllah. He was delivering the message, Alhamdulillah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, he says that, O my Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have not sent you but as a mercy for the entire universe, for all the worlds, for all the mankind, jinkind, for everyone, for all the creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he was discussing and mentioning the situation and the tyranny of that time, that especially for the new female newborns to get birth and they used to bury them alive. When the blessed daughter of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she got birth and she came to bless this universe, this world. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to the people of the world that, "O people, you feel proud burying your daughters alive, but I am telling you, I am informing you that my daughter, she is the blessed part of my blessed body." कि तुम तो बेटियों को दफन करके फख्र महसूस करते हो, लेकिन मैं कहता हूँ कि मेरे घर में जो बेटी का जन्म हुआ है, बेटी आई है, ये मेरी बेटी ये रहमत बन के आई है और मेरी बेटी मेरे पाक जिस्म का पाक टुकड़ा है. A beautiful surah, one ayah from beautiful chapter, smallest chapter, Inna a'tainakal kawthar, I have recited. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to his beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that, "O my Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have given you everything in abundance." Everything in abundance. कि मेरे नबी, हमने हर चीज आपको बहुत ज्यादा दी है. वैसे आप अगर मैं इसको ग्रामेटिकल डिबेट में जाऊं तो अरबिक में वर्ड है कसीर होता है, अक्सर है, फिर किसार है और चौथे नंबर पर कौसर आता है. तो कौसर का माना ये है कि मेरे नबी हर चीज, हर क्वालिटी, हर खूबी अल्लाह सुब्हानहु व तआला ने आपको इतनी ज्यादा दी है कि दुनिया की कोई मशीनरी इसको काम नहीं कर सकती. And Allah says to his Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Allah has put every good thing into your great person, that much that nobody shall be able to count the blessings and good qualities and characteristics that Allah has put into your great person. Beyond imagination. Allah Hazrat को फरमाते हैं कि तेरे तो वस्फ ऐबे तनाही से है बरी, तेरे तो वस्फ ऐबे तनाही से है बरी, मेरे शाह में क्या क्या कहूँ तुझे. यानी रसूलुल्लाह आपकी गुड क्वालिटीज, आपकी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स इतनी ज्यादा है कि हम काउंट करना चाहे तो भी नहीं कर सकते. कि हर चीज, big knowledge, big beauty, big manners, morals, everything Allah has placed in the great personality of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam इतने ज्यादा है कि हुस्न अल्लाह सुब्हानहु व तआला ने क्या अता फरमाया. बुखारी शरीफ की हदीस है, the beauty of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a beautiful face he possessed. Allahu Akbar. How handsome was he? Allahu Akbar. There is a non-Muslim. This is an authentic narration of Bukhari. Non-Muslim from Makkah. He was sent to Medina to observe the situation of Muslimun. But he says that as I reached into the blessed God of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Islam. He said that as I see the blessed face of Prophet Muhammad, I accepted Islam. Like no communication took place. Like Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't say anything to him. He didn't say anything to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Immediately, as he went into the blessed God, he accepted Islam. Later he said himself, why? Because I thought a person with this beautiful and luminous face can never be lying. This face, the beautiful face he possesses and observed, this face cannot be the face of a liar. Allah. Kitna khubsurat chehra. Like an old lady. There was an old lady. She was young when she observed the beautiful face of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And later age, in her later age, when she approached old age, she was asked by a young guy, by a young man, A young guy asked him that, oh lady, you are the fortunate, you are the lucky, you are the blessed, that you observe the blessed face of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Please let me know about the beauty of blessed face of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Along with the beautiful words she uttered, the sentences she said that, Ya Bunayya, oh my son, law ra'aytahu, if you had an opportunity to observe his beautiful face, Allah law ra'aytahu, Ya Bunayya, law ra'aytahu, ye mere bete, agar tu unko dekh, you had an opportunity to see him, it would seem like the sun is rising. It would seem like the sun is rising. And Abu Tufail, one of the greatest companion of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he narrates that Kana Rasulullah, two sentences, please do remember it and do memorize it. Kana Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam abyada malihan muqassad. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was white and mali. In whiteness there was a redness. There was a redness and muqassada, meaning he was a middle height. यानी रसूलुल्लाह sallallahu alaihi wasallam कैसे थे? गोरा चेहरा था, उसमें लाली थी, अल्लाह अकबर, और दरमियाना करते. Just for explanation, when sun at high point, there's a whiteness in the sun, you won't be able to observe it. But the same sun goes near setting, that time, in that whiteness, redness comes. That time it gives a beautiful look. And in the different places of the world, people, especially they go to see the sunset. And he says, the blessed face of Prophet ﷺ was like that. But Abu Hurairah says, Ma ra'aytu shay'an ahsana min Rasulillahi ﷺ. Abu Hurairah goes with the further, and he says that, oh people, don't compare the face of Prophet ﷺ with anything. I have never seen anyone more beautiful than Prophet ﷺ. How was it? كَأَنَّ الشَّمْسَ تَجْرِي فِي وَجْهِهِ. It used to seem like the sun is orbiting. Sun is orbiting in the blessed face of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi. So Allah says to his Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that, oh my Prophet, I have given you everything in abundance. Abundance means that nobody will be able to count. Be it knowledge, be it moral, akhlaq, and manners, and everything. In terms of akhlaq also, there is no one like Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One day Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was relaxing under the tree. He was taking relax. A non-Muslim came with naked sword, flourishing. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam opened his eyes, saw a person standing on my head with naked sword, and was saying that, Ya Muhammad, man yamna'uka minni, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, please tell me who is going to protect you from me. And he came with ill intention, Mazallah, to kill the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam put his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what we have to do. That is why one day a person asked Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is the most powerful person? He says the person who puts his trust in Allah, he is the most powerful person. यानी ताकतवर इंसान कौन होता है? कहा जो अल्लाह पे भरोसा करे. When that person asked, oh Prophet Muhammad, oh Muhammad, tell me who is going to protect you from me? Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Allah. His sword fell down. Now Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam took it into his hands and said, now you tell me who is going to protect you from me. Allah, that non-Muslim said that I don't need to go to anybody else. You yourself will protect me. This is the blessed character. He had believed that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the mercy. And he is not only mercy for Muslims, he is the mercy for entire universe, for all mankind, for the creatures, not only mankind and jinn, for everyone. One day, one of his companions, he was sitting on the camel in the market. He wasn't riding, just sitting. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, hey, please come down. Please come down. Allah has given you this camel under your control. Not to make it chair. Don't make it sit. Don't make it. You're allowed to ride, but don't make it sit chair. Come down. So वो animals वो हर एक मखलूक के लिए वो रहमत बनाकर भेजे थे. माशाल्लाह आज का ये बहुत ही रौनक वाला जलसा यहाँ से हमें पैगाम ले रहा है. And whichever community we are living in whichever society we are in, as Muslims, it is imperative and crucial for us Muslims to pass the beautiful messages of Islam to other people.
झंडे लगाओ, खुशियाँ मनाओ. खुशियाँ मनाओ करके चरागा करके चरागा करके चरागा खुशियाँ मनाओ झंडे लगाओ खुशियाँ मनाओ झंडे लगाओ खुशियाँ मनाओ करके चरागा करके चरागा करके चरागा खुशियाँ मनाओ
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Just before I introduce the Sheikh, I'd just like to clarify that there are post-it notes everywhere on the tables. Please feel free to ask questions. Now is your chance. It's the only opportunity that you have. If you have any confusion or doubts about anything that the Sheikh is about to cover, now is your chance to ask these questions. Please can I also ask that the questions are limited and restricted to the topic at hand, because if we have questions in relation to many different things, then the chances are we will drift away from the topic at hand today. So can I please ask that the questions that you ask, try and make them limited to what the Sheikh is about to speak about. Now, as you are aware, the Sheikh is from the UK. He resides in the city of Birmingham. And Alhamdulillah, the Shaykh is a very big asset to the people of the UK. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed him with a very deep understanding in the religion of Islam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed him with such various aspects and understandings of the Quran al-Kareem and the prophetic sunnah of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Shaykh is an imam of a masjid in Birmingham, in the city of Birmingham. And if he's not busy as an imam of the masjid, then his time is spent in teaching children the sacred sciences of Islam. And if he's not teaching children or adults the sacred sciences of Islam, then his time is spent in reading books in order to educate himself. And if he's not reading books, then his time is spent in either traveling. And if he's not traveling, then his time is spent in serving his family. So, Alhamdulillah, the Shaykh is very busy in the sense that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed him that every moment of his life he is serving the deen. And what we find in recent times that, Alhamdulillah, the Shaykh has now started to travel to many different countries because there is a demand for English-speaking ulama, and Alhamdulillah, the Shaykh fits that criteria. Now, the questions that you would like to ask, these questions can be asked by the brothers and also the sisters as well. So please write the questions down onto the paper, and our Honorable Imam, Maulana Wasim, can gather the post-it notes and we'll place them at the front, and the questions will be answered at the end, inshallah. Just before I allow the Shaykh to come up and begin his talk, I would also like to mention that, Alhamdulillah, the Shaykh has been given special permission, known as Khilafa, a representative of Sayyid Muhammad Hashimi Miya from India, and also his brother Sayyid Muhammad Madini Miya as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them. And the Shaykh has also spent time and studied under various different ulama around the world. Scholars in the UK, scholars from Pakistan and India, and also scholars from Syria, Sham Sharif, and also scholars from Makkah al-Mukarramah and al-Madinatul Munawwara. So Alhamdulillah, we are blessed because we are in the presence of the inheritors of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam. As the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, al-ulama'u warathatul anbiya, that the scholars are inheritors of the prophets. And everyone here today, we are all seekers of knowledge. We are all seekers of the truth. And we are blessed in the sense that we are in the presence of real, true ulama who have spent their life in learning the religion and spreading the religion. So without further ado, if I can ask Sheikh Muhammad Asrar Rashid to begin his talk, inshallah.
This is my first visit to New Zealand, and in fact, it was a culture shock for me because in Britain, the UK, we are familiar with divisive politics. So the politicians are inflammatory and communities are divided because Britain, as you know, has a colonial history of dividing and ruling. And they managed that very well within Britain, with the Irish and the Scots and with the Welsh, and then within England itself, dividing minorities and dividing religions. You have great historical roots in England where there was division from King Henry with the Catholic Church and the Protestant Church, and this has continued with British politics. So when the terrorist attack occurred in Christchurch, at the time, you have to remember there's a time difference in the UK and New Zealand, around 12 hours. So it was night time in the UK, and I was painting the wall of my house, and I had the radio on, and they mentioned Christchurch and New Zealand. Now, New Zealand, many people are not familiar with what, aside from those who may have watched Lord of the Rings and they observe the national park in the scenes in Lord of the Rings, people are very unfamiliar with New Zealand politics. So when there was a shooting, initially when I heard of Christchurch and New Zealand, the impression was a similar type of thing that occurs in Europe from time to time. So in Brussels, a shooting will happen, and or in France, a shooting happens, and then there is a backlash against the Muslims for being terrorists, or the international politics is played within a small country. But when we observe the reaction of the New Zealand government and the people of New Zealand, Muslims, not only in the UK, everywhere else were shocked. Meaning that generally speaking, if a person travels to Europe or travels to growing up in the UK as well as a Muslim, or if people go to America, there is division amongst the people, there is division from the time of Malcolm X and prior to Malcolm X, in the time of Marcus Garvey and with the slaves and the liberation of the slaves, there has always been division within English-speaking majority countries, or what we would call the Anglo countries. But New Zealand represented itself very, very well after the Christchurch shootings. And then after I traveled to New Zealand, I was actually very surprised, firstly with how friendly the people are here, because in parts of the UK there are areas that if a Muslim goes to those areas, the people are very repulsive towards Muslims. There are parts of the UK like this. And in America there are worse regions, and in Europe there is a rise of the right. So previous to the Christchurch shooting, some people may have mistakenly associated New Zealand with Australia, like people mistakenly associate Canada with America, when they are two different places. So when reaching New Zealand, I would like to commend the people of New Zealand that I have traveled to over 15 countries, and sometimes I may observe that the population of a country is good, but the government is tyrannical. Or you may have a government which is good and the people are corrupt. Or sometimes you will have a corrupt public and a corrupt government. I don't want to mention any countries, but New Zealand has, from what I have observed, a good public and a good government. Meaning this is something, I'm very critical of governments. If you Google my name, you will find very controversial comments against the British government or other governments, but I must commend the people of New Zealand and the government of New Zealand. Now, after that short introduction with my experience here, I would want to mention, firstly, with regard to culture and Islam. The very meaning of Islam is submission. Submission to Allah. Who is Allah? Allah is the divine creator. The divine creator who is described firstly with al-wujud, which is divine existence, who is described with eternality, which is known as al-qidam, who is described with al-baqa, endlessness, so beginningless and endlessness, meaning he does not have these traits of contingency. God is not ascribed with any type of contingency. Likewise, who is Allah? The one who has divine power. You will find this amongst people who ascribe to secularism or the far right in Europe or other countries. In England, we have groups like EDL, English Defence League. They will attempt to tarnish the image of Islam with propaganda. And this happened from the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and it happens today. These are what I commonly call objections to Islam. Praise be to Allah, in this country we do not have such things. And I pray to God we never have such things. That you have this cohesion, and this cohesion remains in this country. And that God keeps the way the Muslims are is fine. Meaning a peaceful community. That the reaction of the Muslims was perfectly managed, and the reaction of the government was perfectly managed. And people were glad when they heard that the terrorist himself was not from New Zealand. Meaning they were glad that New Zealand is not producing such terrorists. New Zealand is not exporting terrorism. But nevertheless, inoculation is something that is necessary. Inoculation, for those who are unfamiliar with inoculation, during the Turkish Ottoman Caliphate, some British travelers went to Istanbul, and they would observe that the Ottoman doctors, who were Muslims, they would inoculate young children. Inoculation was taking a weak form of a disease and placing that weak form of the disease within the immune system of the patient, so the immune system develops in order to protect itself from that disease. So the child may be ill for a day or a week, and after that the child, his immune system was strong, and this is where inoculation comes in. So they took that inoculation to Europe, and then this became common throughout the world now that we have immunization, injections, we give a weak form of the disease to the person so he's protected. The immunization for New Zealand, and I say this as an experienced Imam in the UK, meaning some people will say, who is he to advise us in New Zealand? No, I'm saying this as a Muslim Imam in the UK. The environment in the UK is very militant, meaning from the government, from the far right, from the Muslims themselves. Meaning, even myself, I have said statements which may seem incendiary in a context which is hostile, in a hostile environment. And I would say America is worse than the UK. But to inoculate ourselves, the only way is removing ignorance. When ignorance is removed, when we have a reading public, or people who learn regarding basic aspects, then the country is immunized against any type of bigotry, any type of hatred towards any other group. But what happens is, amongst the far right, they will go into a majority, what people say white area, even though I don't use the word white, I would say Anglo area. They go into a majority Anglo area. When they enter these areas, they will capitalize on disenfranchised youth by making an enemy of any group. In America, it can be the African Americans. It can be any other group. But with today's politicized world, after the events of 9/11 and what occurred in the Muslim world, the Muslim communities have been made targets. So the teachings of Islam are presented in a way that Islam is existing in order to dominate the world. This is to place fear in the hearts of people. That we as Muslims exist in order to dominate the world. So the right type of propaganda for them to promulgate in New Zealand would be, these Muslims who live here are here in order to establish the Islamic Caliphate. or they are here to establish Sharia law in New Zealand. And then all it takes is some fringe line Muslim group in order to carry banners, and the media would take pictures of them saying Sharia law in New Zealand, Sharia law in Australia, Sharia law in the UK. And this happened in the UK, where because of the immigration laws in the UK, unfortunately, when they allow someone to come into the UK, and this was a good system you had in New Zealand, they checked whether we had criminal records. I thought that was quite good. Checking the person has criminal records, they have a good background check, and I would support this also. That when a Muslim speaker comes in from another country, they should check what type of politicized messages this person is spreading in the country. Is he promoting hatred and division amongst people? I'm not referring to theological debate. Theological debate is something like engaging on a regular basis, that we should have theological debate. There is nothing wrong with theological debate. But what happened is that they imported certain types of clerics belonging to certain fringe line groups that had a politicized message where they said Sharia law in the UK. What happens then is verses of the Quran are cited, citation of verses of the Quran, verses relating to jihad, and verses relating to Sharia which are found in the Quran. So I would like to give some context regarding those verses. Firstly, for instance, slavery in the Quran. You will find in the Old Testament many verses which make reference to slavery, but there are verses in the Quran which mention slavery and sanctioning of slavery. So they would say that Muslims are sanctioning slavery in the world when the context is not mentioned. The context was that when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, preached Islam in Mecca, the Arabs were entrenched in slavery. When the Arabs were entrenched in slavery, they had slaves, and they will mistreat the slaves, they would lash the slaves, not feed them, and the Quran revealed, Allah Almighty revealed verses in the Quran giving rights to the slaves. So Allah says, those that your right hand possesses, meaning that is what is mentioned, مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ, whatever your right hand possesses. Telling the Arabs and civilizing them that firstly, they must give the slaves the same food that they consume. They must give the slaves the same clothing that they wear. They must not burden the slaves. Eventually the Quran revealed verses which emancipated the slaves. That the Muslims were commanded to emancipate slaves in numerous ways. But slavery was not totally abolished until later. In fact, many people are not familiar with the fact that the first ruler to abolish slavery in the entire empire was a Muslim ruler. It was not Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln himself had slaves. Meaning the propaganda here regarding Abraham Lincoln today, Abraham Lincoln, the war was this, I don't know if they're familiar with the American Civil War, but the war was not really about slavery. It was more about commerce and trade. But prior to the war in 1860 in America, there was a ruler in the Muslim world known as Muhammad al-Fatih. Muhammad al-Fatih was the Caliph of the Ottoman Empire. He, after conquering Constantinople from the Christian Byzantine Empire, he released a document emancipating all of the slaves throughout the Muslim territories in that period, in the hundreds of years before Abraham Lincoln. So, slavery in the Quran is one example. They will say, look, these Muslims, their Quran endorses slavery, and they will quote those verses of the Quran. If there is ignorance amongst the Muslims regarding these facts, then some of our Kiwi Muslims, the Kiwi Muslims are more endangered. They're already an endangered species, the Kiwis, but the Muslim Kiwis, meaning those who are born here, they are more endangered in terms of being prone to an extremist narrative. Meaning, if a young Muslim born in New Zealand unfamiliar with traditional Islamic scholarship, the first message of Islam he hears is an extremist narrative, he will accept that. Likewise, the Kiwi non-Muslims, when the first message of Islam that they hear is an extremist message, they will think all these Muslims are terrorists. And that would lead to a rise of the far right, as well as a rise to Islamic militants, or people who believe in militancy. So, these verses of slavery are mentioned, but they are not mentioned in context. Likewise, the verses of jihad. Now, in the Quran, there are verses of jihad which are mentioned in the Quran. There is no doubt in this. But those verses of jihad are in context of being revealed for rulers. Meaning it's a military code for rulers. If there is a Muslim ruler who rules and governs a country like Pakistan or a Muslim country, Muslim majority country, there are laws and guidelines for him when engaging in war with another country. That is the context of the verses of jihad. And likewise, the laws revealed regarding the Sharia, punishments in the Sharia, those verses of the Quran are revealed for rulers, not for common people. But if this is not made clear to Muslims and non-Muslims alike, then it can lead to polarization of communities.
झंडे लगाओ खुशियाँ मनाओ, झंडे लगाओ खुशियाँ मनाओ, करके चरागा करके चरागा करके चरागा खुशियाँ मनाओ, झंडे लगाओ खुशियाँ मनाओ, झंडे लगाओ खुशियाँ मनाओ, करके चरागा करके चरागा करके चरागा खुशियाँ मनाओ.
Why do terrorists such as Taliban and ISIS undertake terrorist attacks and blow up Mawlid gatherings if they respect the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? ISIS does not represent Muslims. ISIS, what they did, in fact, ISIS, many of the disenfranchised youth in the Middle East were attracted to the ISIS ideology. Some of them were former Baathists as well, from Saddam's regime, and they were attracted to ISIS because ISIS apparently represented Arabs in Iraq and other areas. But then they started to blow up Islamic historical sites. This is because their ideology is rooted in the teachings of Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, who was a preacher from the Eastern Arabian Peninsula during the British colonial period when the British colonized Kuwait. So when the British colonized Kuwait, at that time, the movement of Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab arose in Eastern Arabian Peninsula, and they declared the Ottoman Caliphate as being disbelievers and the majority Sunni Muslims as being disbelievers. So this problem has been going on for 300 years. When certain governments in that region realized they can exploit this ideology, they funded that ideology in different ways. So when they funded them, they decided to blow up shrines and blow up Mawlid gatherings and such things. As for the Taliban, what people are naming as Taliban in Afghanistan itself is really tribal groups. So they label all the tribal groups as Taliban. The tribal groups in Afghanistan do not attack Mawlid gatherings or such things. That is an American problem, meaning the Americans have that problem with the tribal people. But there is a group referring to themselves as Taliban in mainland Pakistan that is funded by agencies, government agencies like certain governments, their intelligence services. They do this in order to destabilize Pakistan. These are hostile regions. You should thank God that New Zealand is all the way in the south and away from the mainland, that you don't see such things. And you don't have hostile neighbors. I don't know how Australia is, but you don't have hostile neighbors. I am a Muslim, but going towards atheism as God does not listen to me. So I think the person intends to say that God does not answer my supplications. Now what firstly the person who wrote this, it would be a good idea for you to come and meet me also. We can have a private conversation regarding this. But when you say God does not listen to me, I think you mean to say my needs are not fulfilled. I will summarize the answer to this thing, and if you need an in-depth response, I can discuss with you in a one-to-one. The Quran states, وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. Perhaps you will dislike something, but it is good for you. وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌ لَكُمْ. Perhaps you will like something, but it is bad for you.
It's a real pleasure to be here with you, I think for about the second or third time. I think in the same hall actually, acknowledging the birth of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. For myself, this conversation has been an illuminating one. I'm a Christian myself. I spent my morning in church, and the exposition we just heard about the value of our faiths, about some of the differences of them, conducted in such an informed way, was extremely illuminating for me. And as I've been sitting here, I suppose, at this event, which is about acknowledging the birth of your beloved Prophet, I've been thinking about how this relates to my own faith, because of course in about 1 month's time we have Christmas in my tradition, which has similarities in that it is the celebration of the birth of Jesus. And so I have some appreciation of the importance of this date for the Muslim community. And on my own behalf, on behalf of the Labour Party and the government, I simply wish to put on record that we acknowledge this special occasion for the community and hope that it is an occasion in which the community can come together, can draw inspiration from the things that you have heard and enjoy this time together.
We all remember, and we are very honored being hosting their burial at South Auckland Muslim Association, Sama section, Imam Memorial Garden. And we have all seen, and we have all addressed it. Number of people attended the funeral. I think most of them have never seen this big funeral as ever. I'd like to thank each and every one for their great work, great support, and inshallah we'll try to stay strong, inshallah, to convey our message and be united, to show the love and unity that the Islam community has in New Zealand. Inshallah, we have to take our differences from our heart and pass the love of each other so that we can be united. And we know we have some differences in ourselves, but we have to put it aside. We have to come stronger and stronger. Inshallah, will be a big community of love, inshallah. Once again, thank you very much for your kind support. And thank you once again. I would like to say, if I have missed anyone, please forgive me. I tried my best with my executives to make this a great event and a strong event, which we try to make it built more bigger and bigger, inshallah, with the help of all our members and our people, which they showed us till to date what we are and what we should be supporting. I would like to thank all my elders who has been behind me, showing their support and love, that I should be standing where I should be standing. At the age of this age, I would never expected to be a president of the association, or the largest association in the South Pacific. But alhamdulillah, with the support of these elders, they made me more stronger and stronger. Inshallah, we'll try to do at most best to keep our community united. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
झंडे लगाओ खुशियाँ मनाओ خوشیاں مناؤ کر کے چراغاں کر کے چراغاں کر کے چراغاں خوشیاں مناؤ.